Hey, it's Amy from Thrive Nutrition RDN. Today we are going to be in the kitchen baking. We are baking healthy banana nut muffins, and I'm so excited. These are so good. First thing you want to do is set all your ingredients out. This is called mise en place in French. That's everything in its place, and it makes for happy baking and happy cooking. Because if we're running back and forth to our pantry or back and forth to our fridge 20 times while we're trying to cook, it just kind of makes it frustrating. So I have all my ingredients out. Some are pre-measured, so I encourage you to get everything out so you're ready to go. First thing is I have half a cup of all-purpose flour in my mixing bowl. To that, I am adding another half cup. This is whole wheat flour. So we're gonna dump that right in. And when you're cooking with or baking with whole wheat flour, you want to make sure it's only a third of your flours, because if you add more than that or try to do all whole wheat, it can lead up with a really dense product. And the third flour we're using in this recipe is oat flour. You can see this is written by my lovely kiddos. Oat flour here, and I just buy old-fashioned oats, throw it in the food processor, grind it up, and we grind up a whole bunch so that we have a whole bunch of oat flour that's ready to go. You can also buy oat flour pre-done for you, pre-ground in the grocery store. So oat flour is going in. We're adding all of our dry ingredients into one bowl, and then we are gonna mix the wet. So to the flours, we have cinnamon, we have baking soda, and then half a teaspoon, oh, I spoke a little bit, half a teaspoon of salt. So let's just whisk this together. Oh, the cinnamon smells so good. So that all the flours are incorporated. So we have a nice mix. The all-purpose keeps the muffins light. The wheat flour gives us that extra texture and protein, and then the oat flour adds extra fiber, which that combination is what, kind of constitutes this as a healthy muffin recipe. So our dry ingredients are all set. I'm gonna set this aside, grab my other bowl and bananas, and we're gonna mix these in. So you want 2 to 3 really ripe, and these guys are so ready to either be cooked with, or pro tip, you can freeze them like this and save them for later. So they should just come right apart. Peel that off. We want to mash them up so these are nice and mushy. Oh yeah, and they have a very strong banana smell. So if you were to freeze them, you'd want to peel them just like this, and then pop them in a little bag or container and freeze them just like that. So let me get the banana off my hands. Grab a fork for mashing. So mash them up. We're gonna get it nice and creamy, and then we'll add all the other liquid ingredients. And what's fun about this recipe is you can change it up. In the fall, when it's pumpkin season and we're craving those pumpkin flavors, I have made these with pumpkin instead of banana, and they're really, really yummy. So banana is mashed. Now it's time to add all the other stuff. 1 egg right into the bowl. Mix that in. Now we're gonna add all the other things here. So we have half of a cup of honey, and honey is super sticky, as we know. If you spray your measuring cup with a little nonstick spray or put a little oil in there, it'll help it slip out. So I have the 1/4 cup of honey measured out, and I'm going to add the olive oil. Another thing that helps put these muffins into the healthier category is there's no saturated fat. We're using olive oil for our fat component here. Of course, there's nuts as well. So let's just make sure. There we go. And olive oil fits into the Mediterranean pattern of cooking. It has, there we go, let's dump it in. It is just so wonderful for us in so many ways. Great for our heart health, our brain health, all these things. So switched my spatula to scrape it out, but as you can see, the honey just kind of slid out. Next is milk, and that's a 1/4 cup. I'm using unsweetened almond milk, but you can use whatever milk you like, whatever milk you have on hand. Let's get rid of the fork. Give it a little whisk. And add our vanilla extract, which is half of a tablespoon. So we can eyeball it right there. Right. Now, and the beautiful color of the olive oil comes through, which is really, really nice. So you just want to whisk to incorporate everything together. The smell of the vanilla is absolutely delicious. Grab our dry ingredients. Let's slide some things around. We have a mess on the counter, but that's the fun of it. Flaxseed is going into the dry. And when you mix your wet into your dry, you want to go slow. We do not want to overmix. One of the things with muffins specifically, or like any quick bread, is you can easily overmix them and then they become tough, and that's just not delicious. So mix all this together, and then it is time to add in the nuts. You could add them to the start, or I'm going to add them right now. And we want to save about 2 tablespoons of pecans for the top of our muffins because it makes them pretty, and I happen to like the extra crunch that's on top. So I'm just going to stick those in there so we have it for later. And the rest, go right in. You could also use walnuts, would be excellent in here, and walnuts are a wonderful plant-based source of omega-3s. Another nutrient that is really, really great for us, found also in flaxseed, which is in our muffins, and found in salmon. So you can see I'm just mixing just until it all comes together. I want to kind of scrape the bottom of the bowl. There's still some dry ingredients that need a little zhuzhing to come together. So this looks good. I'm going to do a last toss from the bottom, and we're all set. So I'm going to clear everything else off. Maybe wipe up that spill right there. And I'll bring over my muffin tin. I have my muffin tin here, and you can tell I've had this guy a while. It's been around the block. It still works great. And I've lined mine with these muffin or cupcake liners and then sprayed with nonstick spray. You can use these, or you can totally leave them out and just spray your pan really well. So I am going to use this scoop. Little ice cream scoop helps to nicely, evenly distribute the batter. We're going to fill our muffin tins. Let's see. Almost all the way full. I'm going to go around, and then I might have to come back and fill a couple others up. You could also just use a large spoon to scoop this in. Either way works perfectly fine. So I'm going to continue scooping out the batter. Then we'll get ready to put them in the oven. The batter has been evenly distributed into our muffin tin. Now we're going to take those leftover 2 tablespoons of pecans and just sprinkle them on top. I like these because it looks pretty, but it also gives you that little bit of crunch. And isn't the best part of a muffin the top? I think so. Let's see, we'll just dump it in my hands. There we go. Now, an option for you, one that I'm sure you'll like, my kids really like. You can take a little cane sugar or coarse sugar, also called turbino sugar. Sprinkle a smidge on top for an extra crunch, extra kind of glisten after they bake. And again, it makes that muffin top even more delicious. Now, they're going to go into the oven, 350 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes. Our muffins have been cooking for 20 minutes, and I think they're done. Let's check. We are going to use the toothpick method. Just take a toothpick, insert it in the center of a muffin, and it should come out pretty clean, and this one did. So these guys are done. Our muffins have baked, they are finished, and we want to cool them on a nice wire rack. And it's important to take them out of the muffin tin, because if we leave them in the muffin tin, they're hot, right? So the steam will build up underneath, and they'll get kind of mushy and soggy on the bottom, and we do not want that. So I'm gonna take all these out, and then we get to do the best part, which is taste them. So let's pull them out and then it's taste test time. Now it's time for the best part, which is taste test time. I am going to pick this one right here, peel back our paper, and dig in. The muffin top with the little extra sugar and the pecans gives it a little bit of crunch. These are not too sweet. They're light, even though we have whole wheat flour and oat flour in here. They're light and tender and delicious. 30 grams of carbohydrate, 6 grams of protein, a great breakfast, a great snack. You're gonna love them too. Thanks.